West Ham 0, Arsenal 6. What a day of football, gentlemen. Big up to Lee Judges in the house. Big up to Adrian, who's back in the house. Big up to all of you that are here watching. Make sure you smash a like and subscribe to this one. And please do me a favor. I'm going to give a shameless plug. Please join me tomorrow night at 8 p.m. so that I can absolutely destroy Dan Lawless. 8 p.m. Football's top, man. Please be there. It is going to be fun. I'll tell you this now. He's been very, very quiet.
Clippers with him.
I was watching that podcast. I'll tell you.
Clippers. I'll tell you, he's been clipped. He's been clipped.
Yeah.
Well, I wonder if old Kudus is still waiting to be as good as Saka, because he's got a higher ceiling than Saka apparently.
Yeah. He's better player than Saka. I think Saka watched their podcast as well.
I think if Saka heard him and went, right, I'll prove you wrong.
I'll show you.
Yeah, wow. You might watch it.
Honestly, it was incredible, man. Absolutely incredible. And I cannot wait. Greasy Don. Big up Don in the house, man. Make sure you go show Don some love on socials. He's a big regular on the panel on my show, and he's going to be there watching Lawless, ripping into Lawless. It is going to be an absolute pleasure to do that. I've got to be honest with you boys, right? I was at AFTV, at the studio. It was me and James, Sharoy and Luce. We sat there and we thought, oh, that bench looks shocking.
Oh, no,
Judges text me, he goes, I hope we have to win with this 11 because this bench is a shambles. And it was. Let's be real. If that was 0-0, we're bringing them on, it would have been embarrassing, wouldn't it? Right? So we understand why, right? But we didn't need that bench. Boys, it was incredible. I couldn't believe what I was watching. I will say that is the worst football team we have played in a long time. They were absolutely shambolic, horrific, abysmal, and embarrassing. But Arsenal absolutely destroyed them. And it was brilliant to watch, man. And I must say, when you walk off the pitch and you're struggling and debating with each other to pick a man of the match, that is when you know you've had a bloody good game. Because there was 4 or 5 individuals that honestly could have shared the award. It was that good. But
Declan Rice.
I wasn't there. Yeah, I wasn't there. Adrian wasn't there, but I know a man that was. Lee Judges.
Right. I've got to tell you a story before we go on there. Like, this story is remarkable, right? Okay, right. So bear with me. I gets on the train today, going to the game. Me, Steve, Russ, and Maddie. We're off to the game. This fella comes up and he asks us a question. I give him the answer. He says, "Oh, thank you very much." He gives me this sheet saying about God and Jesus and all that, you know what I mean. So not being rude, I took it. I said, "Oh, thank you very much." Right now, Julian's got stuck in Dubai, so he can't go to the game. So I've got the tickets. So I picked up the tickets, put them in my pocket, He sells his ticket to Stricto, right? Stricto is late, right? Okay? He's late. You know me, I'm worrying, fussing, everything like that. I give Stricto his ticket, right? I go to the turnstile to put my ticket in. It won't go in. What's going on? I look at it. I've picked up a ticket that was from the bowling ground 2014, you know what I mean? I've got no ticket, you know what I mean? Stricto's gone in. No, this is a joke, right? I've gone in. I've ringing up Stricto, can't ring him, can't get hold of him, you know what I mean? So I'm now stuck outside. It's 2:00, right? I'm doing me nut. I've got on the phone to Julian, millionaire, richest bloke I know, you know what I mean? Has put his phone, right, just so he can only take messages, not phone calls in Dubai, because it costs £4.50, you know what I mean, right? So I can't get hold of him. Now, the people on the stewards and all that are saying, look, we know, Lee, you're not doing a fast one. We know who you are. If you can just get us the email confirmation, we'll let you in and all that, blah, 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 Can't get hold of Julian, can I, I'm now doing my nut. I'm gone, mate. What am I going to do? I've got to go home, right? It's 2:05. A fella walks past. He goes, "Hello, Lee. How you doing? You all right? You not got a ticket and all that?" I said, "No, I mean, joke and all that." He said, "Yeah, I love what you do and all that, your stuff and all that." He gave me a ticket.
Joke.
Who is he?
I can't remember his name. I'm going to be really honest.
Would you sit with the West Ham fans?
Huh?
Would you sit with the West Ham fans?
No. It's an Arsenal ticket. right?
Right.
I was my brain was in such a mess. I said, "I really thank you. Do you want anything for it?" He says, "No, I love what you do. You're great and all that. Enjoy the game." So I went in on the ticket, right?
What? And it was his ticket.
I don't know. I don't know if it was his ticket or whether he was just walking past. This is 2:05. So whether he had another ticket, I don't know. He just give me the ticket. And I goes in. I was so frazzled because I wanted to get into the game and all that. Like I forgot his name and everything like that. But what a fantastic thing. So I knew then we weren't going to lose the game. I seen a 6-0 win. When I comes out, I says to Stricto, "Did I give you 2 tickets?" One, he's gone, "No, you give me 1." And then he's gone, "Oh no, look, no, you give me 2." You know what I mean?
You're joking.
And
so
I
you
go
had one
back,
anyway, but you gave
I
it
go
the bloody
back to that. I go back to that God thing. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day. Now, the other thing about this, right, is the last thing of this story is, right, while all this is going on and all that, like, the stewards are going, "He's got a ticket from the bowling and all that, like, you know." I've got West Ham fans, like stewards and all that, going, "I'm really sorry. I know you're stressed out, Lee, trying to get a ticket, but can we have a photo of that ticket because it's worth a load of money? It's worth lots of money." So now I didn't even know that, like, so I picked up this ticket from, like random, but must have just, can you believe it? I put the 2 tickets and also this other West Ham one.
Where did that come from? That West Ham one?
I just got a little box where I just put things in and all that, like, and I've just put the tickets in. They picked up the tickets, and I must have picked up the West Ham one as well. Think these 2, but these 2 are stuck together. You know what I mean? I blame Stricto because he was late because I didn't check it, like, do you know what I mean? But I'm stuck at, he's late, gone straight in, like that. He's come out, he's gone, "Where are you?" I said, "Where was me? If he wasn't 6'4", I would have killed him, like, you know what I mean? So.
Didn't he answer his bloody phone as well, man? Jesus.
Yeah, well, no, I couldn't, do you know, like, because you couldn't get reception in there, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I couldn't get hold of him. I couldn't get hold of Julian for the email and all that. And this fellow, whoever he was, just come along, give me
what a gent. I mean, that is
it's an unbelievable story, isn't it? Unbelievable.
It means you must have to go to that game, mate. You had to go to that game.
Yeah, and
it's incredible.
It's incredible.
No, it's incredible, man. But, mate, I bet you're bloody lucky that you did go.
Well, unbelievable. So whoever he is, thank you very much. It was, an unbelievable gesture. And I still can't get my head around it. It's 2:05, and he's still outside. I don't know if he was going to another part of the ground. I don't know what he was doing, or he just gave me his ticket and didn't go in himself. I don't know, guys. I really don't know.
He's probably waiting to meet Stricto.
I was about to say
that. Listen, that's a great story, by the way. What a story that is.
Unbelievable.
That's incredible. Adrian, bruv, it was an absolute demolition derby. And those West Ham fans that call it the Declan derby, it was a demolition derby, mate. It was absolutely embarrassing as far as West Ham were concerned. Declan Rice just topped it off. That was the best goal of the day for me. I absolutely loved every minute of it. I thought he was classy. I thought the way that he didn't celebrate. I thought the way that he went round the end with the fans clapping them. Those fans that were left there, by the way, it was about 20. It was special, mate. And I wanted to concentrate on Declan Rice because all of the talk has been about him. £105 million, worth every penny. No one's talking about his price. No one's talking about him not being worth the money. That's probably the biggest compliment you can get this season. 90% of the games he's been man of the match. A lot of people will say it's Declan Rice again. He's actually not my man of the match. It was a bit of a shock to some people. However, he could have been, and he was most people's man of the match. Phenomenal, great goal, and topped off, which was a 6-0 victory. I can't believe 6. Actually our best away victory in the Premier League, our most highest goal scoring away from home. We've had 7s at home at Highbury, but we haven't never had more than I think it's more than 5 away. So incredible, absolutely incredible. So Adrian, over to you, mate. What did you make of it, bruv?
Well, it's the first sort of 10, 15 minutes they were putting it on us, weren't they? But we just bypassed every press. We were able to play out really well from the back, and I just think they got knackered in the first 20 minutes because they didn't stop running West Ham, did they? They were really trying to win the ball back high up the pitch, but we were efficient today out from the back. Our passing was good. We didn't panic. And then once we know it's like when teams play at home, the euphoria of the first sort of 10, 15 minutes where the crowd are up for it and the players are up for it and the game settled down, it just, from there, we just took over. And what was pleasing for me is that, all right, West Ham weren't great, but we put them to the sword and we banged 6 in. Still doesn't take away the fact that we still need a striker in the summer, but you know, I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to give credit to the manager here, because before the winter break, we all had a conversation, didn't we? Because he was under a bit of pressure, and he's clearly gone away, and that break came at a good time. And we were talking about a plan B, weren't we? It looked like we didn't have a plan B, but last 4 games, you know, we obviously we're 4 on the bounce now from that break, and it does look like we have a plan B now. You know, Havertz is playing slightly forward role now, isn't he? Although he was a little bit deeper today, but we, you know, 4 on the bounce. We couldn't ask for anything more, could we? And especially, obviously, the Liverpool win as well, and the West Ham win today. Because I mean, me and Lee were at the West Ham game last year when we drew 2-2. You know, and that's when the wheels come off, really. So to go there and smash them like we did today, it was just a joy to watch. You know, the whole team just once they got that first goal, that was it. We just steamrolled them. So yeah, very, 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 very happy today. You know, we've gone there last year and thrown the league away, really. And this, you know, we've gone there. Declan Rice again. You know, they've beaten us twice this year, and they've been piping up. I know your mate online about the front three and all that lot. I mean, I just you couldn't ask for a better result before you have him on tomorrow's show, could you? So,
crazy.
But,
I can't wait for him to come on.
Yeah, I bet you can. I'm definitely going to watch it. I know that. I tell you that. So, but
Honestly,
yeah,
mate.
really good day today. Really.
He was very humble today. He was very humble.
And we had to respond today because the 2 boys won yesterday, didn't they? City and Liverpool. So it was pressure on us. And well,
it weren't a nice day yesterday, mate. It weren't a nice day yesterday, you know, in terms of results. Everything went the way that we didn't want it to. Today, different story, mate. I never thought I'd see 6, Lee. And I've got to say, big up. I agree with Adrian. I big up Mikel Arteta, because the starting lineup, it wasn't really that I didn't like it. It was that we had no other choice, right? Because Kivior had to play. There was no Tomiyasu. There was no Zinchenko. There was no Jesus, so it had to be either Havertz or Trossard. And there was no Jorginho. He was on the bench, but he hadn't trained all week, so he weren't fit and he was injured, right? So there was no other choice, really. You could have played El Neni in there, but that ain't going to happen. So it really had to be Kivior, Trossard and Havertz that come in. And I really liked the way that we set up. Ben White was inverted. Never thought I'd see that. He obviously realised Kivior couldn't. Then I liked the way that Havertz and Trossard were interlinking. And 1 minute out of possession, it was changing. Odegaard, I thought, was outstanding, if I'm honest with you. I thought he was really, really good.
Pleasure.
And then I looked at the positioning of Saka and Martinelli, and at one stage, Lee, they were actually on the same side together, and Havertz had gone out to the wing. It was confusing the hell out of West Ham, and it's confusing the hell out of us, I think, watching, you know, because I was thinking, what is going on here? Like, this was unbelievable tactics, to be fair, from the manager, that, to be fair, has actually taken a lot of criticism on that, you know, front over the years. I was so impressed, mate, but I have to call him out. My man of the match was Saka. I love this kid, man. I love this kid. He was phenomenal, man. Like, people can talk about how Odegaard was dictating. He was outrageously good. Declan Rice, it was beautiful to see. Gabriel, monster today. Absolute monster. But Saka, just look at him. Like, it's just unreal, man. Like, I honestly believe that he is probably one of the most disrespected players this year, Bukayo Saka. That is 100 goals and assists now at the age of 22. The youngest player to do it. He didn't even realise it himself. He comes out in an interview afterwards. They said, "Oh, you're man of the match." And he's like, "Oh, I missed a few chances today. I thought I should have done better with." Elite mentality, mate. Wants to do better than that. He had man of the match performance. Got 2 goals, penalty. See, unbelievable, man. I love him. And I must say, I feel personally like he deserved that man of the match award. And deserves a lot of credit today, Lee.
Yeah. Big up to Paul who's in the chat, like, you know, about the old
Paolo.
ribbons and the toenails. Well done, Paul. Paolo,
Paolo.
you give it to him, like, you know what I mean? You give it to old Lawless, you know what I mean? So
that was class.
Yeah, class. That was. It was funny. What can you say about Saka? I do agree with him. He should have probably got another couple of goals with his heads. You know what I mean? Had a couple of good chances. I thought he was sensational today. And the one thing that I'll give him praise for is when that ball went over the top, I knew he was either going to score, go around the goalkeeper and score, or it was going to be a penalty. I just had confidence that he was going to do that. Like, you know, I thought he was sensational today. And there's still more to come, certainly from him. There, you know, I felt that everybody contributed today. Everybody really put in a performance. You know, like 7 out of 10 was the least score everybody got today. Most of them got 8, but there were a couple who got 7. I thought that I'm going to have to say it now. Declan Rice, you covered it all there. The way he handled, the way he handles himself and everything like that. He could have given that if he wanted to. After the stick he got at the Emirates, he could have really put it on them like with that goal, but he didn't. Just showed his class. I thought he was fantastic. But for me, I'm going to say it now. I watched Odegaard today. It was absolutely breathtaking performance from him today. He was superb, you know, just making that midfield tick in tight spaces and all that. Like, I thought he was sensational. And I'll make you right. Gabriel was brilliant today. But another big up today for Kivior, because like I thought, you know, did Kudus play today or was he on the bench?
No, he played.
There you go. Like,
you wouldn't have known it.
You wouldn't have known it, like, you know what I mean? This is the best player with the best, according to West Ham fans, Lawless, you know, he's the best player. He's going to be this and he's going to be that.
Ceiling than Saka,
yeah. Well, perhaps if he's the highest ceiling, perhaps he should start decorating. But what I'm saying is, from my point of view, he done really, really well today, and I'm going to say it now. I don't mind. I don't mind putting it. I know he kept a clean sheet and hardly done anything today, but everything that come Raya's way today, he done with perfection. I've got to say that. Like, you know,
can I just comment on that quickly, because I totally agree with you. And what I like and have liked so much about Raya is his decision making and his alertness to actually throwing quickly and getting the game started again quick. That is one thing I have seen. I haven't really been amazed by a massive upgrade on Aaron Ramsdale, but one thing I will say is he does that. He does that better than Ramsdale. Yeah, people can talk about his kicking and say it's better if they want and distribution, blah, blah, blah. But actually, he has definitely seen that pass and had the confidence to allow it to go through. And the times where he just rolls it out quick, I think he's been responsible for a few of our really creative attacks, Lee, and also some of our goals, Raya. So I think big up to him the last few.
No, you know, I think that, listen, I don't agree with the signing. I'm never going to agree with it, like, you know, because I don't think it was the right thing to do. But in saying that, it's happened now and he's in the team. And I think that he done very, very well today, like, you know. So I think that he needs to be said about that. Yeah, I did look at the bench today and think, like, you know, it wasn't inspiring. And then you see that Smith-Rowe is getting out, you know, and this and that. But they all come on and contributed and done well. I thought, like, I know with games done and everything like that. But, you know, I was lovely to see Elneny get a little bit of a run out. And the other thing is, and Red Ken said it today. I was with Ken, a great guy. And lovely guy. And he turned around today and he said that 10 minutes from the penalty to the end was like a Shane Warne over when he comes on and he just wins the game for you, like, you know what I mean? And I thought, I'm going to have to use that, Kenneth. Is that all right? And he went, yes, you've got my permission. Like, you know, so, and it was, you know, I mean, it was just like that. We just blew them away in 5 minutes. We said, we got one, got to get so, and then we was all saying, we're playing so well, can we get 3? You know what I mean? And then when we got 4, you know, I don't think I've been in a game at Arsenal and seen us blow away a team like that in quick succession. I can tell you another thing that I will say. All the times we played West Ham, when we've had the Vieiras, Omris and all that, we've never done that to them. Never done that to West Ham. And I think that West Ham have had worse teams than what they had out there today, and we've had better teams.
Great shout.
We've never done that to them, like, you know.
No, listen, it's a great shout. KD, I know that he might be on another stream. He will be with us tomorrow night, Monday, 8 p.m. on Football's 12th Man podcast. So please make sure that you follow us there. Lawless will be getting absolutely cooked. And you know what? Tobes has texted me. Get me on. Get me on tomorrow. So that should be fun. So, yeah, make sure you go and join us. I will say this, AD. I had literally James saying, brilliant. James said to me, last 2 games, been 2 of Arteta's best that I've seen in the last few years. I totally agree. I think it has been. I think you look against Liverpool and against West Ham, 2 very different games, 2 very different ways that we played, to be fair. Relied very heavily on set pieces today as well as our play. And against Liverpool was a different game and a different team, to be fair, and different lineup. But I have to totally agree with him, man. And you know you were bigging up Arteta, fair play, because there was some pressure on him. There's always been going to be pressure on him at this time of his phase or process, or whatever you want to call it. But for me, the last 2 games, I think he's got everything spot on, man.
Well, I mean, the thing is, when the chips are down, innit, and things are difficult, your manager is worth his weight in gold, isn't it? If he changes it and does things differently. And we were talking about it, that he didn't seem to be doing that. But he's such a workaholic, isn't he? You know, he's that sort of manager that he'll probably still be sitting up now, going through the game and thinking of what the next game going forward. But I wasn't on last week because I wasn't well, but I watched that Liverpool game thoroughly, and we were just doing slightly little tweaks, little different things on the pitch. Pressing in the right areas. Jorginho was outstanding last week, wasn't he? Dictating it in behind the front 4 or 5. But that comes from the training ground. That didn't come from the players doing it. It's Arteta's doing things differently. And do you know what? He's being very brave as well in the Liverpool game. He's very brave with how we were pressing, because at one point Ben White was pressing up the field, and if they'd have gone long Liverpool, we might have been in a bit of trouble. But because we were so quick and so efficient, and getting we always say it, innit? If you're going to press, get the defenders or get the players' head down so they can't go long. And it's all come from the training grounds. And you got to give him credit. We were worried, weren't we, before the break, because things weren't going our way. We weren't efficient. We looked lackluster. We didn't have a plan B. But these last 4 games, we've dominated all 4 of them. And he has just changed it slightly, little tweaks. And what's good as well, I do like, I know the squad today was a bit bare because of injuries and everything, but he is using the squad more now, and he's rotating it better, and players do look a bit fresher. And we said before the break he wasn't really doing that. And in the last 4 games, you can see that he's doing that, but changing different, not say formations, but players in different positions. I think it was an absolute diamond putting Havertz up front against Liverpool. I know Jesus got injured and maybe it was enforced, but he went up there and he knew what he had to do, and that's obviously come from the training ground, isn't it? So definitely he's answered his critics without a doubt, because he was under a bit of pressure. But that's what you want from your manager. You want a manager to, you've got to remember, Arteta has only been a manager for 4 or 5 years now. And you look at all the Guardiolas of the world, Klopp, they've been in the business a long, long time. So you've got to give him credit, and he definitely deserves it. And the players have responded to what he wants them to do. And we're back in it again, aren't we? And we haven't looked like we're going to lose these last 4 games. We've played really well, but we've also played differently in certain games, especially the Liverpool game. The Liverpool game we played differently today than we did in the Liverpool game.
Yeah.
And that comes from the training ground. So big up to him and his coaching staff. Fair play to him.
Do you know what? It's a nice segue. Before I do that, there's just 600 people in here. People, we've not even got to half of that for likes. There's not even 300 likes. We're about 130. Come on, people. All you got to do is hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. I'm going to bring up someone now that I think deserves an unbelievable amount of credit that no one's mentioning, and someone in the comments has brought it up. We have seen set pieces improved unbelievably in the last few games since Dubai. Corners, free kicks, any dead balls, we look dangerous. And I have to pick up this guy for it, man. I did say to him, I said, where is he? Where's he gone? Is he a cardboard cutout now? Has he disappeared? And we've obviously been working on it, because since Dubai, it has been a complete and utter change. Lee, it really has been identifiable, and I've highlighted it rightly so. I feel like our set pieces when Trossard were taking them before Dubai was poor. It was hitting the first man, it weren't getting anywhere, and whatever we were trying to do weren't working. Now, Rice has been on all the set pieces, and my God, I never knew that he could actually take a corner and a free kick, but boy, he's probably one of our best. I thought he was outstanding today, but I've got to say, Gabriel, Saliba, Havertz, Ben White, we've got some monsters in there now, and it always is going to be a chance of us getting someone on it. And today we saw that.
Listen, set pieces are key. You go back to that game against Crystal Palace. You know what I mean? If it weren't for set pieces, we'd have been 0-0 at half time, and a lot of frustration coming into the game, and people not quite happy with 2-0 up. Today, I think first 3 goals were all set pieces, weren't they? Like, you know what I mean? The two corners and the penalty.
Have you seen Gabriel's goal, Lee?
Say again?
Have you seen Gabriel's header?
No, I'm match of day's coming on now, but like, I'm gonna. I've got it Sky Plus. So as soon as this is,
big up to the cameraman. I'll tell you what, because he was just behind Declan Rice as he delivered it in, and I'll tell you what, it just reminded me of David Beckham the way he delivered that crossing. It was
well,
when you
I'll
watch
have a look at that.
pinpoint.
But the greatest thing that you have to say about that is not so much that it's that someone's identified that in Dubai and said, look, because I was speaking to a West Ham fan, my mate Mark, and he was saying that why is Declan Rice taking the set pieces or corners, because he's very, very good in the air. You know what I mean? And I said, well, obviously they've found something there, and then he's been quality on them, so you have to first of all say they've looked at it before Dubai, and then in Dubai they said, right, we need to, they've had a coach meeting or whatever, and they've said, look, we need to work on this. They've got the time out there because of the weather and that to do it. They've worked on it, and it's paid dividends. And there was a time at Arsenal, and you used to say when we got a corner, I'll just give it back for a goal kick, even in our title winning seasons, you know what I mean? We weren't great on that. All of a sudden now we're good on it. And you have a look at teams like Burnley under Dyche and I can't think of his name now, was the Stoke manager, Pulis.
Yeah.
That they used to work on that, Sam Allardyce, and they used to be teams that would be struggling down the bottom but would get into mid-table because of set pieces. So why can't you, if you're a team that's third or fourth, work on your set pieces and get you to the top, And I think that's where it's very, very important, and I don't think the emphasis has been too much on that. But certainly with Arsenal it has. And listen, every time a corner comes in and all that, I remember, do you remember we played Fulham last year? Kept playing it to the near post. It kept playing to the near post. And in the end, I was going, stop doing that bloody near post. It ain't working. And then Leno dropped one, and we I think Gabriel scored it, and we went on and won the game. And my point being that someone's looked at that and thought, you know what, he's a little bit weak on the near post or whatever, and they kept targeting. So someone's looking at this analysis, getting it all done, and then it's all great having that analysis and saying it, but you've then got to go out there and do it. And what they've done is they've practiced it, and they've done it, and it's been fantastic. And I tell you what, today, as good as we were today, set pieces were a key.
Yeah, absolutely they were, man. Let me move on to this next player, Adrian Trossard. I thought he was phenomenal today, man. The quick feet, one of the best finishers at the club, in my opinion. The goal, just as soon as it left his boot, I knew it was in. Yeah. He was fantastic today, wasn't he?
Excellent. I said it a while back. I think it was last year when we signed him. He reminds me a bit of Santi Cazorla. Not at his level, because he was just top drawer, wasn't he? But
in terms of his quick feet, though, yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He moves the ball very well, left foot and right foot. He's two-footed. But when he's got a chance to score and he's got time, he generally hits a target or scores. The volley just before he did score, but the keeper saved it. It was outstanding technique. And what a stop, by the way. But what I like about it is his attitude is good as well, isn't it? Because, at Brighton, he's playing it week in, week out. He's gone to, what you could say, a bigger club. Or, I know people moan about who's what club is what, but come to Arsenal, expectations for him. But, he hit the ground running, didn't he, in January? And we all go back about what we were trying to pay for Mudryk. And we got him at, 26 million, I think it was. Absolute steal. But what I like about him now, he's a lot more consistent, isn't he? And the thing is, as a footballer, if you're not playing or you're in and out of games, it's really difficult to be effective, because one, there's pressure on yourself, when you want to try and play and you want to stay on the side. But he comes on, or when he starts, the consistency's there now. And I think when players come into Arsenal, because Arteta plays a certain way, and his training sessions must be so. It must be hard for a player coming in who's not been used to that sort of training, because he's technically brilliant, isn't he, Arteta? And he searches for brilliance, like Guardiola's of the world. They all search for brilliance in training to execute on a Saturday or a Sunday. But he's come in and he's hit the ground running, and he thoroughly deserves his start today, and he should start next game. But again, you don't know. It's a squad game now, isn't it? They rotate really, really well. But what I like about it is when he comes in, he's effective. He's brilliant, and he scores. And like, I agree with you. He's one of the best finishers at the club. He scores as well. Scores a lot of goals. But yeah, for me, he was up there for man of the match today. He was excellent, and he took his goal superbly. And that going in at 4-0 top corner, it's effortless as well. Like I totally agree, Dan. As soon as you knew he cut inside and he had that time, it was going in. Really pleased how he played today. He's starting to go to another level for us. It's good.
Yeah, absolutely, man. 100% agree with you.
3 and 3 now. He's got 3 goals in 3 games.
Yeah, it is. It is. And, I'm a big fan of him, Lee. And I thought Trossard and Ødegaard today were fantastic. And, we mentioned Ødegaard quickly. I don't know where he was playing, Lee, but it was everywhere, mate. It was deep. He was up top. He was number 10. He was attacking 8. He dropped really deep at one stage and was just pulling the strings. He is probably the best player to watch when he's on form, I think, Ødegaard. I think when you've got everybody on form, the Sakas, the Martinellis, I love them all in a different way. But in terms of appreciation, you just got to look at the technical ability and just how he dictates and how he pulls the strings and how he leads by example, how he is the kind of how he leads the press. I've got so much time for him, man. And he's been fantastic. He really has. And, I was really impressed with him today, Lee.
Yeah, it's not just he's played that, Dan. I have to say that sometimes it can be a little bit frustrating when he doesn't get that pass off. He can be a little bit not sloppy, but it just doesn't go right in the final of like the last pass or I think there's at times he should shoot and he passes when he should shoot. Anyway, but his work rate, I think is something that I know people should take it for granted, but there was one time he was on the halfway line. He sprinted to the goalkeeper to get the ball, sprinted back, sprinted here, sprinted there. Then when he gets on the ball, has got quality on the ball. After doing all of that work rate and running and everything like that. The one thing that his performance lacked today was a goal. Other than that, I thought it was a sensational performance. He was my man in the match today, but I think because I was just watching the game, every time I thought he was just doing things. Remember that run he had when he had 4 players around him? He was jinking and turning away from players. He still managed to get a pass off and all that. And he had 4 players chasing him down. It was 3 times he went to go back and he didn't. The players stopped and think he was going to come back. I thought he was fantastic today. And I think that he's a leader in a different way, Dan. He doesn't like shout and scream and all that. He just leads by example, by his work rate and all that, And one thing that you can't put at his door is that he doesn't put the effort in. Now there are players in that sort of role that are given a little bit of a free roll, bit of a license, and they abuse the situation. He doesn't do that. He just works hard. If he's not playing well, he's contributing and doing a fantastic job. Yeah,
outstanding, man. And Adrian, let's talk about him then. Declan Rice. I looked at it today and I thought to myself, there's probably, in terms of the hostile reception, which I knew he was going to get, I actually watched it as a watch along, so I couldn't hear the audio. But apparently every time he got the ball, they were booing him to start with. Now, I couldn't really hear that and I haven't gone back to watch it. But what a way to shut them up. And I don't actually think it was just Declan Rice. I think it was the team that shut them up today. The whole crowd were just stunned by half time. And I mean, they absolutely crumbled West Ham. But Declan Rice, to be fair, in the last couple of games when he's played West Ham, he ain't been that great. He weren't great at the Emirates. He wasn't fantastic when he came on in the Carabao Cup. But today he was fantastic. And I don't know if he was your man of the match, but a lot of people give him man of the match where I was chatting to today. And the goal was absolutely superb. And it was funny because Trossard and Ødegaard mess it up, don't they? Fall over. And you're like, oh, what are they doing? Thank the Lord that they did, because then Declan Rice steps up. It wasn't even in camera shot, And then he just next minute, bang, and it goes in. And I just thought it showed class of the man, the celebration or the lack of, walking around the pitch, clapping at the end. I'm a massive fan of him, man. I just don't know what more superlative to say about Declan Rice anymore, mate.
Well, I said it, Lee. Do you remember when we drew 2 last year, and he picked Party's pocket, didn't he? And they scored.
Yes. Yeah.
And I said on outside on the channel, I said, like, I hope we get him. He's world class, and I hope we get him. And I'm glad we did. But I think we're all saying it, aren't we? We knew he was good. well, no, we knew he was better than good. We knew he was a class act. You know, he's you know, you got to remember he's an England international. When he plays for England, he's outstanding. But I didn't know he was that good. And I think, and the thing is, he's gone to another level as well, because, you know, he talks about Arteta, doesn't he? And he talks about the difficult in training, you know, what he's trying to ask of his players. And, you know, Declan Rice has gone with him, isn't he? And he's learned. He said it, didn't he? He said, "I'm learning so much that I've never been coached this way before." And he has just gone to another level because of that, but also because of his attitude, you know, the way he conducts himself. His work rate is phenomenal. I'm not going to talk about, you know, touch wood with Thomas Partey, you know what he's like.
Yeah.
But, you know, he's a machine, but he's technically good. He's strong in the tackle. And he's taken a lot of shit, hasn't he, from West Ham fans. And I can understand why. You know, he's their talisman, and he's there. He's been through the system. He's got him to the European final and won a cup. But I don't think you're going to get that from West Ham fans no more. I think he has conducted himself superbly in the 2 games that he didn't play well in, and you know, they certainly rubbed it in Declan Rice's face, didn't they, the West Ham fans? But I think today they saw a Declan Rice gone to that new level, because he just dictated everything in there. And like I say, and I totally agree with what you're saying about, you know, Odegaard. I mean, when Odegaard is on fire and on form, everyone around him plays better. But Declan Rice doesn't play better when Odegaard plays better, because he's that level all the time. I agree with you, Dan. You know, no one talks about the cost. You know, it's a lot of money, but you know, what can you say about the guy? You know, do you know what? I actually cannot wait for him to get to a tournament this in the Euros for England, because he'll be key for us if we're going to go, you know, all the way and to win it. You know, he's outstanding, and I think he's only 25, isn't he? 24, 25.
24, I think.
24 years old, and it's scary, really. Like Southgate, I've said this before, I think, on the last stream. We don't win that Euros with Bellingham, Foden, and Rice in the midfield.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
we ain't never going to win it, are we ever? With Saka and Kane as well, you know, and it's crazy. But no, he was unreal, man. And I've got to say this, Lee. I was listening to Roy Keane and Paul Merson and Gary Neville just a minute ago, just rewatching the goals and rewatching the footage afterwards and the analysis. And they kind of agreed, really, and said, look, they don't think Arsenal win the league, but if they do, they'll look to him. And I thought it was really interesting, because they'll look to Rice and they'll look to the signing, which obviously means they'll look to the manager as well. But it does make me think, if there is a way that we can win this league somehow, Man City look too good for me, but if we can go on and do it, we will look at that signing and think that was why we did it. Because, you know, I don't know if it was James or Shroy or someone earlier saying Partey and Jesus have missed a lot of this season. Last season, it killed us. No one's mentioned Partey really coming out because of Rice. And I think that is massively key, because he is, for me, one of our best players, if not our best player, consistently this season. And I've been so impressed with him, Lee. And I think I kind of got what they meant by that. If Arsenal win the league, they'll look to players like Rice, they basically said. And, I think he's been phenomenal. I really do.
Well, what he does and what he does well, and it's taken for granted a lot of the time, is he just wins the ball. Sometimes he just wins the ball when he's not got the right to win the ball. You know, he'll chase back, nick it. And what he does is he nicks the ball or he wins the ball, and then he's got the ability to pick the pass or drive himself, you know, and that's what he does really, really well. There's probably 3 or 4 times in the game when you think, oh no, we're in trouble in here, and he just comes along and just wins the ball, brushes up. Now, what makes it even more sensational, and I said this the other time, is he's not physically, when he, you know, not that I've seen him naked, but like, he hasn't got muscle bound features or whatever. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, so you would look at him and go, do you know what? I might be able to out muscle him here, like, but you can't. He's as strong as, you know, anything that I've ever seen from a midfield player. He's as strong as a Vieira. He's as strong as a Gerrard and a Roy Keane. You know, and if you have a look at Vieira and particularly Gerrard, and their statures were very, very like stronger than his. But like, you know, I think he's 6 foot something, but he just glides across the pitch. There was one part of the game today, he won the ball and he drove 15, 20 yards into their box and then just played it to Saka. And people will go, well, that's a normal thing to do, but you don't really see a lot of players doing that, Dan. You don't see players being able to do that because they haven't got the physical ability to do that when they can drive past and all that. So what they do is they win it. Say someone like Jorginho, not criticising him, he'll win it and then he'll pass it because he knows he hasn't got that in his power to go. But Declan Rice has. He's got the ability to just put on the burners and then make the right pass at the right time. I think that's his 3rd goal this season as well. Like, so he's, you know, he's adding goals to his game because of the role that he's playing. I just think that, and I'll give my mate West Ham Paul, I'll give a little bit of stick to today, like, because he's been
Big
giving
up,
it
Paul,
to me.
man. Love
Big up, Paul. But, you know, like, I hadn't heard from him for months. And then he, like, when we lost to West Ham, like, you know, Merry Christmas and all that crap, you know what I mean? Like, I'll give it to him. So I took a picture of the scoreboard today, like, at 6-0, and I just messaged him and said, like, I hope you're all right, mate. Like, you know what I mean? So, but he always says that Declan Rice always went on about him, and he said, like, he will be better if you just let him be the, you know, like the what can I say? He's more than an 8, but just go wherever he goes. You know what I mean? Like, I think he's more than a holding midfield player, and I think that he is. I think that he can play that. It'd be really interesting to see if England would do that with him as well. Give him the range, just have a little bit more freedom to his game, and I think he's got a little bit more freedom. Even today, there was times when. You know, he was pushing on and all that, like, and I haven't seen his goal yet, but I'm really looking forward to seeing that goal, like, you know, because it was. You know, we was talking in the thing, like, me, Russ and Ken, and like we said, who do you want to score? I went Havertz because I'm wanting Havertz to do well, you know, call me whatever, like, you know what I mean? Russ said he wanted that hat-trick for Saka, but Ken said, and there is a little bit of a devious side to old Kenneth. I want Declan Rice to score.
I want right. You're 100%.
And he went bang, and he went absolutely mad when it went in.
I went mental on the watch along, man. I went absolutely nuts. I couldn't believe it. I was like, it'd be nice if Rice can score. I know it's 4, but I'd love Rice to score. It's 5. Brilliant. Shame Rice ain't going to score. Bang. Unbelievable. Yeah. Went absolutely mental, man. I've got to say. Do you know the best tweet that I saw before the game? James actually retweeted it. I wish we had more players like Ben White, Bukayo Saka, and Declan Rice. Durable. Every single game there. And I thought that is a brilliant point. And I couldn't really resonate with it so much. And I look at the team at the moment and I think, kind of a shame that we ain't got Timber, Tomiyasu, Partey, Jesus, Smith-Rowe again, another ankle roll in training. I mean, what's happening there? You know, and I said on a watch along, and everyone laughed and went, oh, bloody hell, didn't think about it. I said, does anyone remember Fabio Vieira?
Well, you said that to me today. I said, well, where is he?
Does anyone remember him? Because has he gone on loan? Like, what is going on with him? He's been out for months. You know, he ain't played since November when he got sent off against Burnley.
Yeah, that's what someone said to me today. He got sent off, didn't he? He ain't played. It's the longest ban I've ever known. You know what I mean? Like,
and he was playing.
I can't believe it. Where is he? But we ain't heard anything about him.
Yeah, I haven't heard from him since that day, Dan. What is wrong with him? If anybody knows in the chat what is actually wrong with him, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what it's a long while he's been out, isn't it?
It's longer, isn't it?
I haven't seen him in training or nothing like that. You know what I mean? I'm right. When we go to Portugal next week, I'm going to try and, you know, I'm going to check out the bars. He might be a waiter or something in there, like, you know what I mean?
It's insane.
Great salary for a waiter, isn't it?
Yeah, he had groin surgery. Like.
He's had groin surgery. Yeah.
He's had groin surgery. He ain't been on the job and you know what I mean, got himself in all sorts of trouble or something, is he? Like, you know what I mean?
He's like, I heard that he had a procedure, but I didn't think it's going to keep him out for the year, is it? I mean, Christ, how long? When's he back? Jesus, not that we really like. Just don't know what's going on with him. Like, it's mad, isn't it? And then Tomiyasu apparently is tired. I mean, Son and Matoma aren't. They're fine. They're playing for Spurs and Brighton, but Tomiyasu a bit tired. What is going on?
Probably they probably put Thomas on an economy flight. You know what I mean? They got like, you know.
That's true.
You know, should have got the Emirates out there, shouldn't they? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
he's had 12 hours in the economy on
yeah,
Ryanair.
yeah. He weren't in the lounge, was he? Like,
Nah,
left him out of the lounge.
nah. But listen, it's a good point though, really.
Yeah.
We got some players to
But
come back.
We have got some players. It'd be nice,
Lee,
recurring groin injury, then had surgery, minimum of 8 weeks. So how long's it been there then?
About
When was
12.
that game? When was the game he got sent off at?
Let me find out. Go on, Ace. Go on, Ace.
No, I was talking about Rice. Lee, you're agreeing with this. He's a centre half's dream, isn't he? Gabriel and Saliba. They're not worked as hard as they were last year, and the reason is because he screens that line superbly, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does screen. Also, what he does, Aid, is he ain't on the toes of the central defenders. He's not on the toes of them. He's like brave with his positioning. No,
it's because he reads the game superbly.
He reads the game very, very well. But I also do think that he has faith in his two central defenders behind. That does help. Like, you know, if you know that you ain't got to worry about protecting them as much. Sometimes when you play that midfield role, sometimes you have to protect something. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you know. But then he knows he hasn't got to worry about that. He hasn't really got to protect the wide areas as well. So he's got a 18-yard box to box there that he has to protect and patrol, and he patrols it fantastically well, like, you know. And then he's brave enough, well, not so brave enough, he's good enough to be able to say, right, I've got the ball now, and drive forward and go and come out of that area. And if it does break down, he can get back there, like, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes you think, oh, I ain't got the legs to get back there. His energy levels are fantastic, Aid.
He's a machine. I'd like to see his stats actually on how much he covers, how much ground he covers in a game. I'm going to have a look at that after. He's
incredible.
You know, the man of tackles. I mean, he did a tackle against Liverpool, didn't he? The move breakdown. He won the ball actually in front of the two centre halves. We went up the other end. It broke down. He then joined the attack, and I think it went into. I can't remember. He went into the Liverpool player. I think it was. He's a Dutch guy. They've got. Gakpo, isn't it? Gakpo, yeah. And Gakpo had some room in front of him. He was the two centre halves were exposed because Rice had gone forward, and you can see him like galloping back, and you just knew he was going to win the ball. And he come from the side right on Gakpo, and he slid in, and he's won the ball cleanly. And then Gakpo didn't even know he was there. And we haven't had that. We haven't had that midfield player like that probably since Vieira, because Vieira was very good at that. His engine was outstanding, wasn't it, Vieira? And Rice is very similar, but it's just he's such an all-round midfielder. I mean, like I say, from our coaching days, I think we had Ryan McMenemy, didn't we? Sitting in front of our back two at St Margaret's, and it makes such a difference.
Yeah, it's a big role. It's a big responsibility.
Oh, it's a huge role. But defensively, I mean, like, we're talking about how good he is going forward, but defensively, there's a reason why we've got the best defence in the league right now. And you can big up the two centre halves, absolutely, they're monsters. And our fullbacks, you know, Ben White's going to that level again, isn't he? Seems to be getting there. But half the reason why we're so good at the back is because we're not put under the pressure that we were so much last year because of Rice. And Rice, you know, his ball retention, his ball winning ability, and you know, and good thing, but he wins that ball and breaks teams' attacks down where they're all streaming forward. And again, it's the quality when he gets it. Like you say, Lee, I totally agree with you. He knows exactly when to run with it, and and by the way, when he's running with the ball, he's very similar to Partey, isn't he? He just glides across. And players, he leaves players for dead. Yeah. And that's down to, you know, his technique and his ability. But I'll say it again. I knew he was good, but I do believe Arteta's taken him to another level. But he's an all-round midfielder, not just a holding midfielder. He's an all-round midfielder, and he does. I tell you what, I'll stick my neck on the line here. He's getting towards the levels of what Gerrard was at Liverpool. The way he plays.
Wow.
Well, he's 24 years old. He's England's holding midfielder. I will tell you something about Rice as well. He could have gone to Chelsea not long ago when he was 19, 20, wasn't he? Chelsea was sniffing all around him. And do you know what? He didn't go. He kept learning his trade at West Ham, and fair play to West Ham. And fair play to him staying there, because he could have gone anywhere. Because you know what players are like; they get their, the money in their eyes and Champions League football and everything like that. But what I love about Rice, he stayed there. He's plied his trade. He was in the West Ham side young. He's been made captain for a reason. He leads by example. And I tell you what, he's made the move at the right time for him to excel, his career going forwards. And he's a lot of players should look at him and when they get that big money move, if you like, when they've had an outstanding season and the players jump ship and go to these bigger clubs and they fail, that's because they've got pressure. They're having to learn a different way of playing, and they can't cope. And Declan Rice has done everything in his career up to now as an actual pure professional footballer should do. And he's now reaping the rewards for that. And I cannot believe he's still 24 years old. He's got, 8-9 years in front of him, and he's that good already. And I know I say Gerrard and Liverpool fans are going, no, but, he's that level now. Imagine what he's going to be like at 26, 27, when you're hitting your prime. He's phenomenal. He's phenomenal. And what a sign for us. And the money, I don't care what money we've paid for him. And look, and I say it because you look at the players that have come to the Premier League on massive money. 88 million for Mudryk. You've got 105 million for Fernandez, is it, at Chelsea?
Enzo,
and he ain't a patch on Rice. And it was all because I just believe he's done he's listened to his agent or managers where he's been at West Ham. But his old man probably has a big say in it. Well, and he said he's plied his trade, and the reason why he's gone to that level is because he hasn't jumped ship too early and too young. Big up to him. I'm so pleased we've got him. He's phenomenal. He's player of the year for us at the moment by far. And he's got everything. And he, like I said, I totally agree with you, Dan. If we don't win the Euros with that midfield,
Southgate,
he's gone, isn't he? But
he's got to go, man. If he
enough about Rice, I think I love him. He's brilliant.
Same, mate. I love everything you've just said. There is how I feel about him, and I can throw names in there: Gerrard's and Roy Keane's and Yaya Touré's and Patrick Vieira's, but I actually don't care if he ain't like them. I hope he's just a Declan Rice, and he's
his own
He's his own player. He's absolutely amazing. Fabio Vieira played last on the 11th of November, by the way.
11th of November, blimey.
Remembrance Day he played, and he got sent off against Burnley, and it must be a hell of a red card because I ain't seen him since.
Yeah.
No, he's obviously
someone said in the chat that he was ill.
Someone said he's ill. Someone said he's had surgery. Someone said no one actually knows today, but I think he definitely had surgery.
We know that
he has. Yeah, he's had surgery. So when is he back? No one knows.
He was playing well, and Dan, I said last year we couldn't even give him another season, and he was starting to.
He was contributing, wasn't he? He was contributing, but
he was, and so get them all back, and our squad's looking good, but for some reason we can't get them back. All bloody injured again.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Listen, Lee, Gabriel, and Saliba partnership today yet again. I've got to say this is looking phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. And I've got to ask you, boys, both. We have got some winnable fixtures in the next few games, right? My simple question is, are we going to drop points in any of these games? We got Burnley away. We got Sheffield United away. We got Newcastle at home. We got Brentford at home. Any of those you think we might slip up against in those 4 games?
Well, listen, they're all tough games. The 2 games against Sheffield United and Burnley are all tough. One, because they're away. 2, because of the expectation. The home game against Newcastle will be tough. I don't care what anybody says because they've got quality players. If we're not up for it, we owe them, by the way. We owe them. And Brentford, you know what I mean? Like, I've watched them the last couple of times. They've caused problems to teams and all that. But if I'm really honest with you, we have got to win all of those 4 games to go to the Etihad, because what happens before that is Liverpool miss a game because of the League Cup final. So they're not playing in the league. And also there's the Liverpool-Manchester City game as well in between that game. So if we can win those 4 games, we go to the Etihad with a chance of being in a very, very good position. So listen, if Arsenal are to win the league, and we're not saying that they are, they have to win those 4 games. Now, this one for me was the toughest. and we've just breezed through it, like, you know what I mean. And I know it's simple to say is that we're playing another team in Claret Blue next week in Burnley, and that we expect another 4, 5, 6. That won't happen. It'll be a tough game. And certainly all of those games will be. But for me, 12 points, Dan. 12 points.
Aid, what are you at? Same?
Yeah, of course. We want to win the Premier League. You have to beat these teams. And I was having a chat with my next door neighbour actually a couple of hours ago. We were talking about our record against the top 6 this year, or whatever the top 6 you want it to be. And we ain't lost to any of them. All right, we've got Newcastle, you could say, up there. But I think we were quite robbed really up there. But we've struggled against the games that we have lost. Our team, West Ham was one of them, wasn't it? I mean, they're top 6. Well, no, they're eighth now. So yeah, look, I totally agree with Lee. We've got to go in these 4 games, and we've got to win all 4 because Man City ain't going to drop points. They don't. This is their time of the season. I've had for the last 6, 7 seasons where they just kick on, and with De Bruyne and Haaland back, I can't lie. I'm with you, Dan. I can't see them, not winning it again. But for us, it has to be 12. It has to be 12 points. You don't know what's going to happen between now and then with City, but they ain't going to drop many if they do drop any at all. So, yeah, the big one is Newcastle at home. Last year they frustrated the hell out of us. They came with a game plan, got it spot on. But the way we're playing at the moment, and we are playing differently in different games, which is nice. Like again, I'll go back to the plan B. It seems that we've worked on it, and it's definitely having a joy with our results since the break. Yeah, it has to be 12 points. You can't, we're 4 on the bounce now, and this is where it gets hard, doesn't it? We've got Champions League coming up as well. The weather ain't great. Our injury list is getting bigger. So it's no brainer, isn't it? We've got to go for the 12. I think we'll get them the way we're playing. I think we will. I think I think you go back to how we used to play when we played these teams like Burnley, Sheffield United. When we were just such a soft underbelly in our side. We ain't got that no more. We are a powerful, strong, athletic team now. With look at the monsters we got at centre half. Ben White 6'3", 4", isn't he? Rice 6 foot. And they're hard to get round. They're quality defenders, aren't they? But they're monsters now. When we go back to them Staffies of the world, who are like 5'8", and we'd lose games like Burnley and Sheffield United. And we'd go into games, and we talked about it, didn't we? We worry when we play those teams.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Look, listen, I'm bloody nervous before that game today, and I'll be bloody nervous next week. That's how it is. You know what I mean?
So it's football for you, isn't it? Because we're at a level, Arsenal now, where it is nervous because
that's it, and that's why I say now, like you got like well, I always say it now. I've got what is it today? Sunday. So I've got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I can enjoy my life, enjoy it because Arsenal and that, and then I start worrying Friday about Burnley. That's how it is.
Yeah, man. It's how it is. Listen, I think we can win them all. I think Newcastle and Brentford were 2 games we dropped points last season at the Emirates, but one of them was because Lee Mason forgot to draw the lines.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
if you remember, that was a year ago today, apparently. Or yesterday, can't remember. And Newcastle at home, to be fair, Eddie Howe had a game plan and just literally came for a 0-0 and got it.
Yeah.
And I think it could be difficult. Burnley away and Sheffield United away, no excuses, boys. I'm sorry. You got to go and take 3 points against them. You don't take 3 points against them, ain't going to look good. But if we do get through these 4 games and we go into the Etihad, I calculated it the other day and I said, if we win all of our games, we'll get 94 points. Now, we're not going to win all of our games, but I think it might be that we can only really afford a couple of slip-ups left. Because we've already had a few slip-ups, haven't we, to this stage? And I don't see Man City or Liverpool having many slip-ups either. I think they'll drop points, for sure. I don't know how many they're going to drop, if I'm honest with you. Obviously, we've got to beat Man City at the Etihad, for sure. But I do feel like we can probably only afford maybe a couple more draws. And that would be like, let's say our 2 hardest games other than Man City, let's say Old Trafford and White Hart Lane, we draw both those games, let's say, and we win the rest. I think we've got a great chance because we'll hit towards 90 points then, which is what you've got to try and aim for, I think, to win this league, which is crazy to say that, but that's how good Man City are. I just look at Man City yesterday, and they're knocking on the door. They're knocking on the door. They're knocking on the door. Haaland and De Bruyne, bang, 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 easy. See you later, 3 points. And I think they're going to do that now for the rest of the season. De Bruyne is ridiculous, mate. You know, absolutely crazy. And them two together, I just think it's going to be scary, to be fair. So I'm expecting
Man City. He tore us apart,
to...
didn't he? He tore us apart at Man City last year.
Yeah.
If we're going to have any hope and to compete in that game, we've got to have our spine of our team needs to be there. They need to be fit. You know, if we lose Saliba or Gabriel or Rice or anyone like that, then we will struggle, because at the end of the day, De Bruyne, he tore us apart, and he's tearing everyone apart since he's come back, isn't he? It's going to be tough. Them two in that side are just, you know, everyone's saying, and without them, they're still up there, you know. So they're going to go to that level again. And I tell you what, if Liverpool or Arsenal win the league this year, it will be one of the greatest Premier League victories, wouldn't it, for either of those teams to be ahead of a side like Man City, because they've won it. Was it 6 out of 7? And last year, you know, we were right up there. And you know what? We should have won it last year, you know, but it was injuries that killed us. We ran out of steam. We weren't good enough. And Man City, they blitzed it, didn't they? And it's this time of year that they go on this run, and you know, if whatever team finishes above them this year and wins the Premier League, if that happens, which is going to be tough, it'll be one hell of a Premier League victory, I'll tell you, because they are. Yeah, well, they've got the best manager in the world and they've got the best players in there, but they just know how to win. And Arsenal haven't got that at the moment because they haven't won anything. And but we need to be at full strength at the Etihad, because last year we went there. I don't think we had Saliba, did we, last year? No, and we got torn apart, absolutely torn apart by him. So yeah, we did, and we can't do that this time. Fingers crossed again when we go there, but it's not really worked out for us, has it?
It hasn't yet. It's not been a very pleasant ground for us, to be honest, but that's got to change sooner rather than later, man. Listen, we're going to leave it there. There's nearly 700 of you still watching. Make sure you smash the like button. We need to get up to 350 likes, please. That'd be amazing. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. Our next target on here is 40k. And please do me a favor. Tomorrow night, go over to Football's 12th Man podcast, Monday at 8 p.m. Do not miss it, because Lawless is going to get absolutely destroyed by all of us. It's going to be beautiful. So make sure that you're there, please. It will be amazing to see you all come over and support the channel. Lee, last word over to you, mate.
No worries. Look, have a great week, guys. Thanks for all your support and everything like that. You know, there was over 700 watching that at one stage. That's fantastic. Like, you know, if you're staying up for the Super Bowl, enjoy it. But most of all, get onto your TVs now. Put the old Sky Plus button on and watch Match of the Day. Good night.
Good night, people. Take it easy.